Well, good evening everybody and welcome to the new Race Spec Pacific season. Exciting season 4 of Race Spec action. I am Bodhod and I will be your commentator this evening and hopefully for the season. We're here for round 1 at the Red Bull Ring, Austria. Really exciting to be back. Brand new tier. This is tier 2, so 4 tiers I believe. Tier 1 and tier 4 are also streaming at this time. Make sure to tune into here because I reckon this is going to be the best one. So yeah, let's see how these guys fare. We've got 19 guys here, so pretty good attendance to start off with. I might quickly just run through the grid here. We've got Lockie and Grim Reaper in the Mercedes. We're on board with Lockie here. In the Ferrari we have, I'm going to call that Edmund. I'm not going to try to say the start bit. I would say Edmund and Kurt Boy. In the Red Bull we've got CNKI and I'm not sure whose teammate is, he's not here yet. McLaren we've got F1 Hawk and Deputy Dildog. Renault we've got Sidepod and Banana. In the Alfa Romeo we've got the Stone Tower and Honest Crook. In the Haas we've got Mastonian and Scotty. Alpha Tower we've got Benny and Server. Williams we've got Kickbutt Keeley and Kavudi. And which team have I missed? Racing Point we've got Predictor and Banana Josh. That's the tier. Pretty quick people in here actually, so I don't really see any sort of runaway winner, I don't think. No, I think it's going to be really competitive this season. Plenty of guys with good pace here. Just riding here with Blocky though on his first lap, Austria. I think it's the shortest lap time on the calendar. So yeah, you've started and you finished very quickly around here. Really high speed, one of the highest speed tracks on the calendar. Blocky opens the account for 103.6, which is actually quite a good banker time there. Servers and Banana Cake Pie just behind certain times. But yeah, one of the biggest challenges of Austria is getting your lap in the first place. Many places to cut and run wide. Particularly with the speed you're carrying through some of these corners, it's incredibly easy to breach the track limits and get your lap invalidated. Penalties are going to be a big thing in the race, so those who can keep it clean the most are probably going to be on for the best results. That's probably how it's going to work. So it's going to be a tough one. I'm going to need to really focus to hook up your laps in the race as well as a hot lap in quali. The times being so low, it is going to be really close for qualifying positions. So you need to maximise the time and try to get your tidy lap. Not many places to really make up time, but you can't afford to run wide and get your lap cancelled either. That just puts pressure on you later. So quite a tricky little track to navigate, even though it's not the most technical on the calendar. But it's going to make things interesting for the race. We might ride on board with is that Honest who's just started a lap? We'll run on board with Honest Crook here. He's on the mediums in the Alfa Romeo. One of the nicest looking liveries on the grid, in my opinion. Coming through the second DRS straight now. We've got 2 DRS straights around here. No, we've got 3. I think just about every straight's a DRS straight here. So easy to... Oh, we've got a bit of... Alright, that's not great. Mercedes running across the racing line. That is a qualifying block. Not ideal. So Crookie's probably going to finish this lap anyway, just get a banker on, but it won't be too flash, I don't think, on the mediums. Thanks to Sidepod as well in the chat. Dry conditions for the qualifying and the race, so we won't have to worry about any sort of weather affecting the race, so these guys can go all out on the dry setups. Honest Crook's banker is a 104.9, just ahead of his teammate, the Stone Tower. Alright, who have we got starting a lap? I think that like Kurt Boy jumping across the line in the Ferrari Bright Red, coming through turn 1 up the hill. Probably going to see most of our overtakes into turn 3 here. They count this kink as turn 2, so turn 3 being this hairpin up here. Uphill braking zone, you can brake so late, carrying a lot of speed into there, so we're going to see a lot of dives up there, I reckon. Trying to maximise traction out of there is really important as well. Really easy to lose the back end into the wall. So a couple of really tricky spots there to nail. Get down to turn 4, hit that apex. It's one of the slowest corners on the track actually, I think. Into turn 5 and 6, second state does. This is the only real place you need any sort of downforce, trying to get the car stuck as much as you can. You can see that Ferrari drifting out wide a little bit, missing the apex. And again, so obviously running as little wing as you can, a little bit loose in the curve exit there as well. It's going to cost a little bit of time. You need to make the track as short as you can. This is a real commitment corner. You can see Kurt's cut that and he's going to pull into the pits late. Really tricky there. You have to get your turning point absolutely spot on to maximise that corner. Yeah, the whole last sector really is quite a send sector. Got to really commit to your line and then follow through with it. So really easy to lose your lap trying to push a little bit too hard there. Unfortunately, Kurt Boy, he's going to have another crack at it. Looks like F1 Hawk in the McLaren, bright orange McLaren, is going to come across the line next. So set his lap, first lap of the session. Runs a little bit wide, but keeps his lap. And it's going to be P1 with a 103.2. That's a very solid lap there. 4/10 ahead of Blocky, so that's a really good lap. Great first lap there. I've had another couple of runs to try and improve that, but 4/10 clear is quite, it's actually quite big for such a short track, so well done there. Macedonian, I think, just popped himself into P3 as well recently. He was the Tier 3, no, my mistake, Tier 4 champion last season, so he's had a promotion up into Tier 2. So he fares. Who have we got on a lap? So there's an AlphaTauri coming around the final corner. Not this one, but we'll stay on board anyway with G-Force Server. Haven't seen that name in a while, so good to see him back on track here in Tier 2. We'll see what his pace is like. In the AlphaTauri, probably my favourite livery on the grid. The AlphaTauri and Alfa Romeo can take the chocolates on that one. Purple at the second sector. See if we can hang on to some time. Doesn't even improve by much to gain positions here. You see how close P2 down to P8 is. It's only 2/10 between 7 guys there, so that shows how close it is. But Server will come around the final corner and he will improve to a 103.5, so 2.5% improvement. That's pretty good, puts him up into P2 for now. Still only halfway through the quali session, but good to get that lap in there. So side pod, I think, in the Renault I just spotted might be starting a lap. Yeah, he is coming through turn 1. I know Sidepod doesn't use assists, which is good to see. I think it adds a whole lot more complexity to the game, and also makes it more rewarding when you can nail it. So good to see Sidepod up in Tier 2, so he can do on behalf of the no assist gang on the wheel as well. Heavy braking, a little bit of a lock up there. Won't do the front tyres any good, but there are a couple of places you can lock up fairly easily. Braking zone's not quite straight there, and you want to try and turn in as much as you can, take that inside curb. Second sector, he's found a lot of time there. He was a 10.5 down, sector 1 split. He's now purple to the second sector. And if he can hang on to this time, it could be a top 3 as well for Sidepod through the second last corner. Takes that really nicely, actually. Car looks nice and stuck. Last corner, will have to back out of it slightly, but up to the line. It will be an improvement, I think. It will be P2, 103.3. That's a great time from Sidepod there. And there's even more time in that lap. We saw him a 10.5 down in sector 1, so Sidepod could be on here. Looking really nice in that Renault. Teammate Bernard on an out lap, currently down to P12. He's only 6-7 tenths off the lead though, so that's how close the field is, down in P12. We haven't seen yet, we haven't seen VCN KI yet in the Red Bull. Haven't set a lap yet, must have validated his first run. So we'll see what he can do, hooking it up in the second sector, gets nice and wide as possible. Try and hit that apex, misses it slightly, but that's okay as long as you get to the second one, which he does. It's looking nice there. Coming round the second to last corner. Look at the offboard here of the Red Bull. Last corner. And DRS wide open run over ERS at the perfect time. It will be P11 103.9. I reckon he's got a little bit more pace in him. In a few races he did in Tier 3 last season, he showed some really impressive pace. I remember one particular race at, I think it was France. He had some outstanding pace there. So we know he's got it in him. Just a matter of hooking up that lap. But I do expect VCN KI in the top 10. So let's see what he can do on his next couple of laps. Teammate coming around the second last corner now, Will, with some numbers in between. We'll call him Will. DRS open. We'll see if he can get into that 10. Oh, it said it was timing his lap. Maybe that was an out lap. So it looks like he's just starting his lap now. We'll flip him a bit later. Who have we got in the second sector? I think that's a McLaren. It might be F1 Hawk. He's on an out lap. There's a Red Bull behind him as well. Who have we seen? Edmund has invalidated, unfortunately. I'm going to see a lot of that. Kick button on the lap, kick button on the lap. There we go. Repping the white Williams, the toothpaste car. Coming around the final corner now, looks nice and tidy through there. What can he do up to the line? It will be a 1:03.4. It's good enough for P3, just ahead of his teammate Kavudi in P4. So Williams looking nice there. A couple of strong teams actually. You can see McLaren in a 1.7 at the moment and Renault in a 2.6. So top 7 spots. We've got 3 sets of teammates in there. So really close. Speaking of close, have a look at the times between Banana Cake Pie in P6 and Scotty in P11. It's half a tenth between 6 guys, which is quite incredible when you think about it. Half a tenth is not even a blink. So some crazy close times there. Yeah, great to see. Looks like Hawk is coming around Sector 2 split now. He's marginally down in his time actually. Nice and wide on the entry to maximise the turn-in speed. Run wide and that will be an invalidation. Unfortunately, had to push to gain an improvement there. But he won't be able to this lap. Not sure if we'll go again, doesn't look like it. Who else haven't we seen yet? We haven't seen Bernard. Josh is in a lap. No, it looks like he's cooling down. Just having a look on the track map and see who might be on a lap. Looks like the AlphaTauris might be on a lap. It's Serber. I think Serber's on a lap. He's pushing. Right on board for the final corner. Takes that quite nicely. Runs as wide as he possibly can. That's really nice. Can he improve? Oh, he does by 3 thousandths. That's not good to get him in the position, unfortunately, though. Improvement still is nice. His teammate Benny behind has not set a lap. He's just invalidated his one, so that is not good for him, unfortunately. But I think if I get off your phone, mate. No texting and driving in the comment section. Hello to all our viewers. Great to have you on board for round 1 action here at the Red Bull Ring. If you'd like to, let me know who you reckon is going to nick pole, and even better, give me a top 3 for the race. See if you can predict it. I will shout you a Freddo Frog if you get it right. That's the deal. So give it your best shot and we'll see who gets closest at the end of the race. Looks like Scotty's about to start a lap. Scotty, another tier 3 driver with some really good pace, getting the promotion up into tier 2. He's starting his lap now through turn 1, trying to get the power down as soon as possible. In the Haas, the Macedonian and Scotty in the Haas, I think both in Haas's last season, so should be familiar with the car. Scotty will be marginally down in the first sector, only half a tenth though, so plenty more track to gain that back. From now on braking zone, that could be a couple of tenths there. So Scotty in that really tight pack we were talking about before there. So if you can find even half a tenth, it's going to put him up multiple positions. So we'll see what he can do for the rest of this lap. Getting it turned in for the middle sector. 2 long left-handers. Looks nice and tight. He's a quick. He's improved a little bit, but he's still down on his best time. A couple of yellows ahead. It looks like a Red Bull might be just getting out of the way there. Does so quite nicely. Scotty for the last couple of corners. Can he find the time? Takes it too early and he's invalidated, unfortunately. So he's going to have another crack at it. Unfortunate for him, but still got a bit of time. He did improve, probably due to that corner cut. Teammate Macedonia just popped himself up the P4 as well for Haas, so looking nice there. Looks like a couple of guys going to be jumping out on that lap soon. Just 2.5 minutes left in qualifying, so now's the time to get those nice fresh socks on and get out and start qualifying. Edmonds just popped himself up in P2 there, missed that. 6/10 improvement, so that's a really good time, 1:03.3, so he's only 2 tenths. Sorry, he's only 1/10 off F1 Hawk. So that gap's coming down to F1 Hawk, but can he hold it? We know Sidepod didn't get sector 1 right on his best lap, so he's got time there. I reckon there are a few other guys who can challenge that as well. Alright, who should we have a look at? I think Grim Reaper just popped himself up as well into P4, so time's starting to really come in now. A couple of guys in the 1033s. Can we see anyone crack the 3 1s or 3 flats? Who else was that? I think that was Kavudi, just put himself up to P2. I keep trying to get people. Will's marginally down, he's 4 thousandths down. If he can find a bit of time here, he will jump. He does, he finds 2 tenths in the last sector, jumps into P9. Only 1 thousandths behind Macedonian, so really, really close there. Who else is on the laps? Like Blocky's trying to pick up a couple of little toes from people. He's a 10th and a half up, so Blocky, what can he do in the black Mercedes? Really nice looking livery there. He's going to get another little toe from Honest Crook, so picking up the scraps where he can get him is Blocky. Currently in P13. I'm sure he'd love to get himself into the top 10. If he can get close to his teammate, I reckon that'd be pretty nice. But track now really, really full. I think everyone bar one person is out on track, or bar 2 people. So now's the time to get going. Blocky's 3.5 tenths up. If you can hang on to that, it's going to put him into the top 7 or so positions, possibly even high. Can he get this last corner right? Or misses the apex slightly, but that's okay. Carries the speed. Gets that last corner bang on though, which is nice. Up to the line. Where can Blocky put himself? P7, 1034. Or if you hung on to that second last corner there, it could have been a couple more positions, but that is still a good time there for Blocky. P7, he'll be pretty happy with that. So Banana Cake Pie will jump on board with the Renault man as well, his beloved Renault. What can Banana do? Currently sitting P12, probably not the worst thing to start 11 or 12, although with the strategy being so simple, you'd probably rather have the track position. Banana is marginally down, he's missed that apex there, so he's not going to improve, I don't think, unless his last sector was really bad in his best lap. He's going to give it his best crack. He's not going to make the line for another lap, so this will be it for Banana Cake Pie. Is he going to be able to do it? Does improve, stays P12 though, so all gets jumped by Prezzo straight away though. P12 for the Stone Tower in the Alfa Romeo. So not a bad place to start maybe. Maybe try the alternate strap, we'll see. Banana Josh in the Racing Point, P18, I expected to be a lot higher than that. Currently a 10th up. Although in saying a lot higher, he's only 9 tenths off pole, that's how close this field is. Absolutely incredible how close these guys are. Benny didn't end up getting a lap either for Alpha Towers. He's going to be starting right at the back, but Banana Josh will be hoping to get himself a bit closer to that top 10. Where can he put himself across the line? It will be P17 and 1038. It's incredible how being 6 tenths off pole can put you in P17. That's crazy. Sidepod's doing some donuts at the last corner, it looks like, so he won't improve. McLaren F1 Hawk, he's got pole, but can he improve it? I think he did. It was a 10th and a half up when we flipped to him, and he will have pole position, little F1 Hawk, but by how much? I reckon it could have been close to a 3 flat, maybe even a 2 if he hung on to that time. It's a 2.9. There you go, that is a fantastic lap. Look how close the rest of the field is though. That's absolutely insane. So Banana Josh only 9 tenths off pole, but if you don't count F1 Hawk, it's only 6 tenths off P2. But F1 Hawk getting the goods in qualifying for McLaren. Fantastic lap there, 1029. Kavudi will take P2 for Williams, which is a great result. VTNKI P3, Edmund P4, side pod. Reaper and Block in Mercedes 6 and 7, not bad there for the team. Kickbutt Kiwi and the other Williams P8. We've got Server Macedonian will take the top 10. Will, Stonetown, Banana Cake, Crook, Dildog, Scotty, Banana Josh, Predictor, Kurtboy and Benny MC will get tyre preference. They can go whatever they want for the race. We might see a couple of them slap on some mediums perhaps, or maybe just stay with the sauce. We'll have to wait and see. That's qualifying. Good to see a prediction in chat as well. Money's on Kickbutt Kiwi and Honest Crook. There you go. We'll see what they can do in the race. They're going to have to do some overtaking to get back up the top there, but I'm sure they will do just fine. Now, we haven't really talked strategy. Soft to medium is pretty comfortable. However, if things go sour at the start, you can go soft to hard and they will work. Or actually, in saying the soft to medium comfortable, it's not as comfortable as it was, so we might see a couple of people maybe try soft hard. Yeah, it'll be interesting. You could do either or really, but you wouldn't do a medium hard, that'd be too slow. Someone who starts on mediums will probably try and stretch them for softs. Softs will do about 13-14 laps, I think. then you do 20, 21, 22 kind of laps on the mediums. So that should be the strap. We'll see if anyone does anything different. Be interesting to see if anyone outside the 10 chooses to try that alternate strap. If you can hang on to the top 10, you can really gain some ground at the end, but and it's quite easy to hang on to the train in front because there's so many DRS zones. Pretty much half the track is DRS. But we'll pull up the tyres. There you go. So we've got the top 10, of course, on their qualifying softs. We've got Stone Tail, Banana, Honest Crook, and Dildog. P11 to 14 starting on the mediums. So we've got Scotty and Banana Josh will start on the softs, so they'll have the best tyres of the lot. Brand new, fresh softs. Predictor and Kurt Boy will start on mediums, 17 and 18. And the two guys at the back, Benny and will start on softs. Will, he might have gotten a 5th placer or something. I'm pretty sure he did set a lap, but he was starting last, so that's a mystery. But anyway, it's what it is. But start will be interesting. Turn 1 really narrows on the exit because there's a little bit of a kink on the outside curb, kinking towards the track, so you can't really afford to run too wide there. And I think turn 3 is going to be pretty chaotic as well, trying to make up positions. The easiest place to make up positions, but also the easiest place to run into someone and bin your and their race. So first race of the season, there's two ways you can approach it. You can either go safe and just try and get a solid first race in, or you can send it and try and make the most of every opportunity. We'll see what these guys' approach is, but looking forward to seeing who can make up some ground. We've got F1 Hawk looking really nice. I reckon if he can get away, he might be gone. The DRS being so important, but if Cavuti can hang on, the blokes behind, it really is anyone's game. Could really come down to penalties, so keeping it clean. Got a bit of nose to tail action at the back there. Looks like the the Renault and Ferrari getting nice and close together. A bit too close for comfort perhaps, but these guys lining up on the grid. This is a beautiful camera angle actually, so hopefully it stays like this for the start of the race. We'll see who can impress in round 1. Really looking forward to this race. Get some predictions in if you'd like. Let me know who you reckon's going to hit the podium. If you're right, I will give you that Frodo Frog. But anyway, it looks like we are just about ready to go. Everyone lined up on the grid. Wait for the lights. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. Lights are out and away we go. Looks like a great start from F1 Hawk. He's going to be clearly P1. Looks like the Mercedes behind. Oh, a bit of a touch there. I think that was Reaper or maybe Blocky ran into the back of side pod there. At the back we've got a little bit of carnage as they're all kind of got a 3 wide. That's pretty chaotic there, but looks fairly clean actually from top to bottom. We've got F1 Hawk. The top 4 or 5 guys are pretty set. We've got, looks like Macedonian and Blocky going side by side through there. Macedonian going around the outside of Blocky, a bit more at the back. A little bit of contact from a few guys as well, but Macedonian will get through for P7. And looks like he's going to try and line up the other Merc, but not quite. Blocky trying to get a run as well. AlphaTauri of G4 Server and Keep Up Kiwi just behind, so Keep Up's lost a few places. Looks like Grim Reaper and Sidepod going side by side. Sidepod losing out to the Mercedes, but trying to sneak down the inside again. It's not quite going to work. And behind Blocky and Server, looks like Server snuck through somehow. And Blocky's having to concede another position to Kickbutt, getting a little bit wide there. So Blocky losing a couple of positions right at the start there. Looks at Sidepod though, looking down the inside. Oh, that's a risky move there. And he's backed out of it smartly. Not the time to be gone for a move there, I don't think, on lap 1. Running wide, it will be a warning probably. Leaderboard glitching out, don't worry about that there. But Sidepod looking down the inside now of turn 1. He's going to get the move done, is he? Right on board with the Mercedes. He's going to get a switch back. Sidepod wide again, might be another warning. It looks like Grim Reaper is going to get the run on the inside now. Macedonian will be tucking in behind. We might actually run on board here with the Haas. He's going to have a nice view of this. Sidepod trying to go around the outside. A little bit of a squeeze on the braking. Grim Reaper is going to hang on, but Sidepod with the cross under, but losing the back end slightly there. He's going to probably not be able to get the run. Up ahead, Cavuti's hung on to P2. Looks like him and VC and KI are having a bit of a switcheroo. That looks all good. Dildog's in the pits, as is Blocky. So Blocky, that explains why he went a bit wide, might have run in the back of someone there, and Dildog looks like he has damage as well. So not ideal starts for them. We'll pull up the positions gained. So biggest winner is Will off the back of the grid. We've got yellows though. I'm going to flick to that quickly. Looks like Banana Josh. Banana Josh is round in the second sector. That's big. That's really unfortunate for him there. So he's going to drop right back down to where he started. That's unfortunate there. I wonder if he had a bit of contact. I was going to say biggest winner at the moment though is Will, 7 places up, and Benny right behind, 5 places up. A bit closer to the front, Macedonian is also 5 places up, which is great to see. We've got more yellows. I think Bernard Josh has binned it in the pit entry perhaps. Yeah, he has. So he's going to have to go around again. So things going from bad to worse for Bernard Josh, which is really unfortunate. He's now going to have Lockie all over the back of him. But I do want to keep in mind this battle as well. See if Server and Kickbutt Kiwi still nice and side by side together. Looks like Kickbutt's going to go down the inside and get that move done. We've got more yellows. I think that's Blockie's binned it at turn 1. So those 3 guys really struggling at the start of the race. But Kickbutt now into P8 on Server. He's got half a second to Macedonian to catch up. So these guys all well and truly still in a train. Get the tyres back up. There we go. But up the front is F1 Hawk in control. He's going to try and break that second from Kavuti, who's hanging on quite well actually. We've got a couple of guys starting to drop a little bit. Try him. Edmund is just outside the second, as is Reaper. So Sidepod might be lining up a move here as well soon. He won't have DRS with the Mercedes in front of him, so we'll jump back on board here though, because I think this is the place we want to watch. Lots and lots of action happening with Macedonian trying to line up Sidepod, who's going to be trying to line up Reaper. Oh, Sidepod's wide, and that's going to let Macedonian through. Sidepod locking up perhaps there, and Kiwi's going to now get a run as well. Sidepod sort of defends the inside, but stays in the middle of the road, and that's going to let Kiwi straight through. Bit of a squeeze on the brakes again. Sidepod won't be happy with that, but he's going to have to concede the position. Now down to P8, so losing a couple of positions in a row there. Looks like a bit further back, Benny and Honest Crook also swapping positions. Benny gets through for P13 on Crook. A little bit wide there, Crook, but he's not going to have the grip to get back. On the medium tyres, speaking of mediums, Banana and Stone Tower are the lead medium runners there in P10 and 11. And they're still hanging on to this train, so that's really good for them. If they can continue to stay within the DRS, they can have a lot of pace towards the end of this race. We've got more yellows. That looks like Kurtboy in the first sector, or second sector actually, may have just gone around again in that tricky traction zone. But who have we got? Looks like Server is going to be trying to line up Sidepod again. No pressure from behind yet. He's not going to quite get the move done though. Sidepod with DRS as well. He's going to have the pace to stay with him. Looks like Edmund's really struggling. I've just had a look at the gap here. Grim Reaper's back in DRS. And Edmund's now 2 seconds behind, as our first penalty is through. It's Kavuti in P2, so that could be costly. It won't be the last penalty we see. Sidepod looks like he's really struggling, locking up again. So he's going to want to get off those softs, I think, as soon as he possibly can. Not looking comfortable at all. But yeah, the Ferrari of Edmund looking like he's struggling a little bit, possibly overheating on the fronts. Not too sure what the problem may be. I mean, it's not like massively slow. It's just he looks like he's struggling a tiny bit in terms of the pace, unless he's just had a bad lap there. But not too sure. Server picks up a time penalty as well. It's the second guy to get penalised by the stewards. Not ideal on lap 6. Going to have to be a goody two shoes for as long as you can now to minimise that penalty loss at the end of the race. Macedonian here lining up Grim Reaper. He's going to have a massive run. I don't think Reaper's using the ERS there. Oh, he's going to go really deep in the brakes. There's going to be a tiny bit of contact trying to get through the tight corner there. Macedonian is going to try and go back under though. Shocking camera angle. Sorry about that. Up ahead looks like we've got a side by side. We'll jump aboard with Kickbutt Kiwi as Macedonian does manage to defend from Reaper. Gotta love when the game gives us the shoulder camera angles for a side by side, but nothing we can do about that. Macedonian now through. He's lost DRS now to the Ferrari of Edmund, so that little battle cost them a little bit of time there. So Macedonian's going to have to hook up a few laps to get back to the DRS. Top 3 look like they're pretty much gone. Edmund's in the middle of nowhere. Then you've got this big pack here. Still a big DRS train all the way from P5 right down to P14 with Scotty. So both Haas's at either end of that train. And you've got Crook and Predictor not too far away in the mediums either at the back of the train. So everyone's still nice and close together. DRS really helping keeping this pack nice and close together. Looks like Stone Tower. Oh, we've got someone else off. I think that's Bernard Josh. He's having an absolute shocker. He's off in the third sector, I think that is. In the gravel. So Bernard Josh having no luck going his way. We've got some action here as well though. Through turn 3, I think that is. Will and Benny getting close together. Looks like Benny's just snuck through there as well. So plenty of stuff happening here in this opening race. We've got more yellows. I think that's Bernard Josh again in the pit entry, so he's had an absolute stinker. He's going to pit. Hopefully he stays in the race because there is still a long way to go. Will goes nice and wide. That's going to let Scotty have a look here, but not quite getting the run to go through. Really difficult to go through in this second sector with fast corners. Really easy to wash out behind someone with the understeer. But Will just hangs on there from Scotty. And looks like Stone Tao is looking at the back server still. So Stone Tao on those mediums are probably going to be just as quick as the softs now. 8 laps in, softs will probably be 30-40%. As well, that's the lap car now, Josh getting out of the way there. Oh, we've got an instant up the front here. Looks like it's Kickbutt Kiwi getting nice and sideways. He might have gotten a bit of a squeeze in the brakes there by Reaper, I think it was next to him. But looking really, really close together there. Just saw that on the onboard from Stone Tao. Looking really, really slidey. These guys are obviously pushing really hard. Speaking of pushing hard, these top two guys, or second and third guys, Kavuti and VTNKI, are really close together as well. I think they might have swapped positions and then swapped back again. Just looking at that leaderboard there. So plenty of action on track here. Looks like Sidepod now wants a piece of Kiwi. That little mistake there, a little incident there has let Sidepod back into the party. Server's not too far behind either, so you can see how much a mistake would cost you. She really can't afford to make a mistake, go wide, get a penalty. She'd be dropping multiple positions if you do so. So really high pressure situation here for these guys. And it will be interesting to see if anyone tries an undercut, because it could be quite useful. You would lose out not having DRS, but with those fresh tyres you might be able to gain a little bit of time. So it's going to be an interesting strategy play come the pit stop, because it looks really, really difficult to overtake when everyone's got DRS here. Sidepod get the car stopped. Server actually closing right up on the brakes there. And Server might actually have a ping here on the back of the Sidepod. He's going to try to go around the outside. Sidepod defends the inside quite well. He'll hold his line, get the car stopped, and he's going to squeeze Server out a little bit. Leaves plenty of space there, which is good. And Server's going to have to slow him behind again. So great defense there for Sidepod. They run wide again. So Sidepod looks like he's struggling with those fronts a little bit. Not quite getting the car turned in yet. There, so Server all over the back of him. Sidepod turned offense on Kiwi into defense on the Server, so struggling there. I think that's the Mercedes. I think Reaper's just run really wide there, so that's going to lose out a bit of time for him as well. Banana picks up 3 seconds, Naughty Banana. So penalties now starting to really come in now. Plenty of guys picking up those dreaded warnings, and that looks like Sidepod's wide again. So really, really struggling, and Server's going to get through on him. And if he's not careful, the Stone Tao might as well. The Sidepod's dumping all of that to ERS to stay in front. Server's going to go down the inside, not quite cars alongside there, but Sidepod leaves in space. Really respectful there for Sidepod. Great sportsmanship. But Server's going to sneak through. Can Sidepod fight back though? He's not quite close enough. Can you send it under brakes? Not really easy to go around the outside there unless you're ahead. He's not going to be able to, unfortunately. So Sidepod has to settle for P9. Really nice with the racing here, but backs out of that one there. Looks like the Red Bull up the front as well. P3 right at the back of Kavuti still as well. So both of them have a penalty. So that isn't fair game at the moment. That might be another warning there for Team KI. You've got Macedonians in the pits. So first one to bite, lap 11. We're into lap 10 there. So it's going to be a stretch from mediums. I'm just going to throw on some hards. But yeah, first guy to pit, Macedonian. He's going to come out pretty much last by those guys having shocking races. No, he's put on more softs. Okay. So Macedonian's gone for a 2-stop. Not ideal. I wonder if he's banking on a safety car or something. Looks like that's Josh again having a few problems on the straight. But yeah, Macedonian's doing a 2-stop. Whether intentional or not, it's what it is now, but I'm a bit surprised there. I thought he would have put on the hards, but if he gets a safety car in the next maybe 5 laps, then it could help him a bit. Although we will still have to stop again, so not too sure what the play is there for Macedonian. I know in Tier 3 he had a reputation for really getting the strat right, really making mistakes, but that could be a mistake there for Macedonian, but we'll see how it plays out. Still a lot of laps left. He might have just been struggling with some overheating. Looks like we've got a bit of action up here though. I think that is Caverdi in the pits, as he got 5 seconds as well, so that's the last thing he would have wanted. He's going to pit, and what's he going to put down? Put on his car. We've got yellows in sector 2 and 3, I think that's Banana Josh again. He's put on hards, but he's not having any sort of fun at the moment. Server gets a penalty as well, so that's his second one, I think. Lots happening now, as our leaderboard's all mucking around as well now for some reason. And Stone Tower really letting the brakes on side pod. Cycle's not going to give him any room. Stone Tower trying to force his way through there. But lots happening here. Looks like Reaper and Kickbutt Kiwi as well. Kickbutt gets through for P4, Reaper down to P5. Can side pod hang on from Stone Tower? He does. A bit further back, looks like there's a bit of a three-way fight. We've got more yellows in the third sector, which is unfortunate there. But lots and lots happening. Stone Tower, you can see that train there still nice and intact. We did mention Caverdi did pit. He has put mediums on, so he's going to try and stretch them to the end. It's going to be a fair way to go, and they're going to be pretty toasty at the end of the race, but we'll see if we can make it work. Looks like we've got a couple more guys in. I think that's F1 Hawk out of the lead, and then Reaper as well out of his pack. Stone Tower getting really slidey there, but IK Pie will be right behind him, but not really close enough to have a run. Stone Tower flips the DRS shot, probably to try and get the run out of turn 1 on side pod. We know he's been struggling through there, side pod. But Stone Tower trying to line up. Mastoni does look quick slap almost fresh, soft, but he's got a lot of time to make up to get that track position back. What can side pod do to defend from Stone Tower, whose mediums are going to be much better than those softs at this stage of the race? We should expect to see the soft guys coming in the next lap or two. Those guys have not yet stopped yet. Stone Tower not close enough to really make a move on side pod. Just behind, I think that's Scotty and Will having a side by side. Scotty staying ahead there of Will. They've got a bit of a gap to predict it behind, but they're going side by side. Looks like Stone Tower. This is an interesting place for going side by side. Stone Tower and side pod. Can they hold it? They have been able to hold it. Nice and clean racing from the pair of them. We'll jump on with Banana Cake Pie. He's going to have a good look at this. Side pod might pull into the pits here. He's going to hold it nice and tight, and I think he is. Yep, so side pod's in. Probably a good decision there. He's going to go medium, I think, to the end as well. But Stone Tower not waiting, wants to get it done as soon as possible. A couple more guys out of the lead in now, so that puts the Ferrari of Edmund into the lead. Stone Tower and Banana on those mediums now 2 and 3. Benny from the back in P4 now, so it's been a great recovery so far, but he's still got a lot of work to do. Will in P5. Peter and Honest Crook starting on those mediums as well, 6 and 7. So F1 Hawk's gone hards, just noticed as well. So as has Kickbutt, so they obviously think the mediums aren't quite going to get to the end. Most other people are opting for those mediums. So it's going to be interesting to see whether they kind of even out and then drop off compared to the hards at the end of the race. It's going to be tight. Looks like it's Mastonian F1 Hawk. Mastonian getting through on the soft tyres, so Mastonian doing that 2-stop. He's now ahead of the effective race leader, but it's stopped down still. So Mastonian, he's going to have to really send it to try and recover something from this race. Although if he does get a late safety car and everyone decides to pit, then it might not, or it might save him, but without a safety car, he's going to really struggle to get the track position back. You can see how quick he is now on those soft tyres, but it's not going to be enough, I don't think, to gain the extra pit stop back. Looks like Edmund is in the pits now, finally. And Honest is just going to let Mastonian go, which is probably not the worst idea. Mastonian clearly quicker at this stage of the race. And he's got F1 Hawk behind as well, our effective race leader. So Honest Crook, persevering on this medium tyres. They're not going to be in the best condition, although he's going to have a run here actually on Macedonian. But he's going to back out of it, and he's going to let F1 Hawk through as well. So Honest Crook playing the long game there. Looks like Banana and Prezzo going side by side here. Banana's going to try and take the lead of the medium runners here, and he's going to get it done. Nice move there. Looks like just behind Macedonian and Predictor, unless that's just a leaderboard glitch there. Not sure what timing's doing, but Macedonian now to P4. He's going to be trying to catch Predictor. So Banana Cake Pie leads the medium runners. Now Stone Tower won't be too impressed by that, I'm sure. So he'll probably try and get that position back. Down the field, so that very angry side pod, and Benny going side by side as well. Benny gets through side pod, trying to get back though. Both of them on fresh mediums, they're both in the same strat. Side pod does have a penalty now though, so Benny has the upper hand in that regard, but yeah, side pod, we know he's got some pace. We saw potentially could have gotten P2 in qualifying if he could hook that lap up, but We know he's got plenty of race pace and plenty of fire, so we'll see what he can do on Benny, who's trying to catch Kickbutt Kiwi just ahead as well. He was on the hard, so these two will probably catch and pass Kickbutt, or towards the end of the race. If Kickbutt can hang on, he could be quite handy on those older hards compared to the really old mediums. So we'll see what happens there at the end of the race. We'll look on board with our Red Bull here. This is the battle for essentially P2 here. Looks like a little bit of contact. Oh, Kavudi gave him a big squeeze in the straight, and V10KI has squeezed through. So Kavudi playing really physical there, but gets through. Macedonian's already caught 2 seconds or so to Predictor, and he's through. And F1 Hawk's closing behind as well, so Macedonian is really sending it now into P3. But as we've mentioned a few times now, it does have to pit again. F1 Hawk with the next one to try and take the racing point for P4. Currently driving a really nice race, no penalties yet. We can see him going a little bit wide, a bit understeer there. The hard tyres in the dirty air Predictor. But you should have the pace to get through in the next couple of corners, I would imagine. Should have DRS here. I'm not sure if he's going to be quite close enough for it. He's using all of his ERS. He's saved up a fair bit actually. So he's going to try and dump it and go for it. He's not going to get the run yet, but I reckon out of turn 3 he should be able to get power down. You can see how much more confidence he has in the brakes, and he's going to get power down. A little bit of lag for Predictor, which is going to throw F1 Hawk off a bit, but he should be able to get the move done. He's not. He's going to wait and save another lap. Predictor defends the inside quite aggressively. F1 Hawk's going to get the run. I was going to back out though. Predictor lagging a little bit, making things hard. You can see how much time F1 Hawk has lost to Macedonian just ahead there. So hopefully lag doesn't play any sort of part in any sort of incident here, but F1 Hawk, I'm sure he'll be hoping to get past as soon as he possibly can here and get on with his race, because you can see TNKI only a second and a half behind, so definitely being held up as F1 Hawk just with his raw pace. Right on board here though, should be able to get the move done. Predictor really defends. Oh, that's a big lag spike. I think he might have just lagged out of the session, but F1 Hawk is through, and that's the important thing there, so not ideal there for the racing point. But the McLaren now clear in P4, and with some clear air might be able to just get his head down and get some consistent laps in. Halfway through this race, just one time so far, we saw Bernard have an absolute headache of a race. He is retired in the pits. Not sure what was happening there. I seem to be really struggling on the power particularly, but not too sure. On to next week I guess. But yeah, round 1 to forget. Predictor is definitely out of the session now. He's not in control of that car. V10KI and Kavudi now through. Effective P2 and P3. And Edmund not too far behind either. So Edmund's called back a little bit of time here on those two of the Red Bull and the Williams, but still got a little bit more ground to catch before really getting into that fight. Although I'm saying that, he doesn't have a penalty, does Edmund, so he is in a pretty nice position. If he can keep it that way, he might be able to jump ahead of him in the race, but it's still a long way to go. Look to see what happens there. Who do we have to look at? We might have to look at Macedonian again, because he's starting to catch Prezzo and Banana Cake Pie pretty quickly. That gap's now 7/10. Looks like Server, I'm not sure if that's just our leaderboard mucking up, but he just dropped a lot of positions on the leaderboard for some reason. I think that's just mucking up. Stone Tug goes wide on the exit of turn 3. You can see that's going to cost him a run to Macedonian. Macedonian is going to go through. Prezzo doesn't fight it. Probably smart there. If he can stay in DRS with Macedonian, might be able to pull him back towards Banana Cake Pie, who is his race, whereas Macedonian probably isn't quite his race. And although I'm saying that Macedonian has already pulled a second, just about, so yeah, Macedonian is the man on the move at the moment in the Haas. We might have a quick look a bit further down the field though, because it looks like Sidepod and Kickbutt and Scotty, that little pack there is still faring quite close together, as all that looks like Scotty and Will going almost side by side, and I think Will is going to, oops, sorry about that camera there, Will's going to have to concede to Server, so Server gets through P14, Kavudi gets another penalty, that's costly for his chances of a podium. Now got the disadvantage, and Macedonian is still in Banana Cake Pie as well at the front, so I'll just flick to that quickly. On the straights, pretty straightforward there. Banana Cake Pie now in a P2. Didn't lose much time, still out of DRS of Prezzo just. And if Banana can hang on to Macedonian here, might give him a chance to run away a little bit from Prezzo, but I would expect to see Banana and Prezzo in the pit in the next probably 2 laps. So I reckon lap 22 or lap 21 will be the way to go. Alternatively, they could just stick it out for a safety car. They still feel comfortable in the mediums, but if you want to maximise the softs, I would be pitting probably lap 22. So we'll see what they choose to do, those medium runners. There are 3 of them who haven't pit yet. Look, Banana's in now, so there you go. He decided to go early, so he's going to try and do 16 laps on softs, which is doable. They're not going to be too nice, but it can be done. Stone Tail stays out. He's got F1 Hawk right behind him now as well. So we'll keep an eye on where Banana Pi. Oh, F1 Hawk is going to get a nice run here. Stone Tail running very wide at turn 1. So F1 Hawk will get that move done, probably a bit easier than Stone Tail would have liked, but F1 Hawk now clear in the lead with cars between him and his rivals, VCNKI and Kabuti right behind. They've got DRS on Stone Tail as well. So if F1 Hawk can get a lap or 2 together, he could really break them. But Stone Tail looking on the back still with DRS. We saw Edmund as well pick up that penalty, so we talked about he had an advantage with no penalties before. That is now gone. I'll quickly have a check at the penalties. There we go. So Kabuti's got 11 seconds. He's got that 5 second for speeding as well. So Kabuti really shooting himself in the foot here. Only the top 2, Kickbutt and Scotty, the only ones without penalties, so that's important there. Bit of a change of position there. Who was that? That is due to the Stone Tail pitting. There you go. So Stone Tail's in now. Is he going to come out ahead or behind Banana Cake Pie? We're going to have to wait and see. We'll jump above Banana. He's dropped down to P15, but on the soft tyres. Where is the Stone Tail? Oh, he's already ahead of him. So Banana Cake Pie with a really nice undercut there. Stone Tail only just come out of the pit lane now. So Stone Tail's lost 4 seconds that lap. So Banana Cake Pie acing that strat there, but those softs are not going to be too nice at the end of the race. Speaking of not too nice, these guys going really hard at it. Kickbutt Kiwi and Sidepod. Sidepod trying to get the move done. We've seen him be nice and close a couple of times. Kickbutt Kiwi moving a couple of times in the straight there on the hard tyres versus Sidepod's medium tyres. And he's going to try and go for a switch back, but I think Kickbutt's just going to have the traction to hang on. Yeah, he will just. Seb right behind it as well. And then we'll a little bit further back. But Sidepod, he needs to get clear so we can start to use those medium tyres before they die, because those hards will be a lot nicer at the end of the race. So Sidepod all in the back of Kickbutt Kiwis. Might have to just save a little bit of ERS and dump it all for one big go. But you can see him struggling a little bit behind. You can see Kickbutt losing out a bit to Benny ahead. But Sidepod's going to dump it now. He's going to go down the inside. Kiwi, maybe a tactical play to get DRS in the next straight. But he's going to get the run now with DRS. So what can Sidepod do? He's going to surely be dumping that ERS. Yep, they're both using their overtake mode. Sidepod's going to defend the inside. Kickbutt runs in back of him. And Scotty's gone around the outside of both of them. Oh wow, didn't see Scotty coming through. He's going to get Kickbutt, but Sidepod hangs on just. So Scotty, I think, has just made 3 moves in the space of a couple of corners there, because he... oh, they're on the grass. All right. Can't be talking too much about that yet. And there's more contact there. Kickbutt and Scotty side by side. Scotty's going to get through. He's going to get through on Sidepod as well, as he Sidepod not wanting to give the position up. Scotty around the outside, a little bit wide there. Oh, they're 3 wide. They are 3 wide, and this could be a disaster. There's a little bit of contact on the inside. Server's almost gone round. He's always lagging a tiny bit there. Server being pretty adventurous through there. Banana Cake Pie. Oh, Banana's off. So they've had to avoid an incident, and Will is trying to get through as well. And Banana, has he just lost a chunk of end plates? He has. Banana's in the wall. And that's massive, because he's only just pit as well. So getting nice and tangled up there. That's really unfortunate for Banana Cake Pie. These guys are going absolutely mad. I think Will managed to just avoid that, but they must have held up so much. I saw them go 3 wide in that second sector there. Banana getting caught up in that, which really, really sucks for him. But yeah, that's racing sometimes, unfortunately. But these guys now, they've kind of sorted out a little bit. Low service, still trying to look on the back of Scotty, but he's not quite going to get the run. He picks up the penalty as well. But everything happening. Wow. Will's also on the back of service. This is a far-away fight now. Unfortunately, Banana Cake Pie is now out of that fight. He's now dropped down to P16 behind Dildog. Server's lagging like absolute crazy, which isn't going to help anyone that was possibly a bit of a course with all the hold up there. We still have to slam on the brakes mid-apex, trying to go 3 wide through the corner they've just been through there. So let's hope Server's net stays stable, because he's right in this fight. Scotty will stay on board here. I really enjoy these onboards. You can see the lines that they take, try to get the run, trying to open up corners and trying to get the power down as soon as possible. Looks like Scotty's done that pretty nicely. He should have a run here on Kickbutt. Kickbutt has DRS but isn't close enough to get side pod. What can Scotty do though? Scotty is going to look outside. He's going to go outside on the medium tire. He's going to squeeze, get a little bit squeezed there by Kickbutt, and he's not going to get the move done. Server is on the inside as well there. Stone Towel. Macedonian's dropped a few positions. I reckon Macedonian may have just made a little mistake or been pushed wide slightly perhaps, because he was ahead of the Stone Towel. But Macedonian now trying to get through on Will. In the meantime, Kickbuck and Scotty still side by side. Right on board with Server here, as looks like Kickbuck's just slotted in. We went right on board with Server because that doesn't look very pretty. And oh, that's Macedonian. No, it's Scotty. Scotty's gone off. Geez, not getting a great camera angle. It was Scotty, yeah. So Scotty's now lost a fair few positions. So really getting physical here, these guys. Stone Tail and Server now side by side. No, it's contact and Stone Tail's round, and Server's been hit as well again. So those two both spinning out the second last corner. That's going to be really frustrating. Server's going to pit, probably with wing damage there, and the Stone Tail has lost all that track position. These two still nice and close together ahead of them, but that is so disappointing there for the Stone Tail. Trying to go side by side in a place you can't really go side by side. I'm not really sure who was to blame there. But yeah, that's really unfortunate for the Stone Tower. I'm not sure if he'll have damage or not. Will's trying to get through on Scotty just ahead. He got yellows in the first sector. That's probably just the pit lane. Yeah, Server's retired from the session. Server's done. That's disappointing for him, but really spicy battle. Really heated in the middle there. An incident was always bound to happen, but it's unfortunate it had to be Server. And then Stone Tail and Banana Pie unfortunately being the ones who lost out. Oh, we got a spin. That is Macedonian. That is a rare mistake for Macedonian, losing it there on the medium tyres. He's now going to drop behind his teammate and Will out of the top 10, which is pretty big. The Stone Tail's right behind now as well. So Macedonian made a mistake there in the second sector. You can see the pressure these guys are under at the moment. While all this has been happening, we didn't quite see, but Kavuti is up in a P2 as well, ahead of CNKI. But I'm pretty sure Kavuti has more penalties we saw before. Yeah, so CNKI can just stay there. He'll still be in P2, but those two have swapped over at some point in the recent times. Scotty and Will still side by side. Scotty gets through there by looks of things and into P9. Kickbutt and side pod still going nice and close together, but not close enough to really have a direct battle on track. Will's not done with Scotty yet, but he's going to have to stay behind. Will with front wing damage there. You can see on the left hand side, the let's try it again. The left end plate is gone. So he's lost out somewhere in that big scuffle, which is unfortunate. He's probably going to have to stick it out to the end. Stone Tap picks up 3 seconds as well, which isn't going to help his cause. Honest and Banana Cake Pie just behind him. Honest has had a bit of a quiet race. Yeah, kind of in no man's land. Deputy Dog as well, we haven't really mentioned too much. Top two, or 2 and 3 going side by side again. So Kavuti and CNKI nice and close together. Looks like Kavuti's going to defend the inside line. Can he hang on? He's going to move across for the braking zone and hang on to P2. So these two deciding to get it done on track instead. Still 8 laps to go, which is plenty of time to make things happen. Looks like Benny and Grim also going side by side. Benny getting through on Grim. Grim nice and close together. Side pod not quite in this battle yet, 3.5 seconds back. So Benny's done well off the back of the grid. Remember, started P19 I think it was, so up in the top 5 now, which is fantastic for Benny. Only 6 seconds penalty, so he might lose out to Reaper. So top 6 potentially, but still a really good effort there to get off the back of the grid in such a competitive tier. Top 2 still going side by side though. Around the outside, Kavuti, CNKI trying to get down the inside. It'll be a warning for Kavuti, I think, but CNKI gets through. What can Kavuti do to fight back? He'll have DRS for the 3rd straight. He's going to late move to the inside. CNKI sees him coming late and leaves the space, but Around the outside, the traction is too good for the Red Bull, and stays ahead into P2. F1 Hawk 3 seconds clear of these guys, no penalties either, so he's just chilling. The real battle's behind him here. Speaking of battle, looks like that midfield battle's now died down. We've got Kickbutt still within DRS, side pod behind him. They're all out of DRS to each other, so they've broken up. Unfortunately, Kavudi gets another time penalty, so he's going to lose. He's probably going to lose a couple of positions here, actually. Kavudi, he might even lose out to Benny, or potentially Reaper. Because what's he got? He's got 14 seconds now. So 14 seconds, let's say 11 seconds to those 3 seconds, guys. So Kavudi might actually drop to P7, as Kavudi is now in the pits. So he's going to get 5 seconds off, potentially go for the fastest lap now, but that's not going to help him with that, with all his penalties still, because he's still got the second most penalties in the race behind Will now. So interesting play there for Kavudi, but yeah, he's now out of the podium fight, so that puts Edmund back into the podium position, P3 now. So Benny's just behind as well, but he's still got Reaper right behind him. So Kavudi looking really pacey, but with the warnings that he keeps picking up, that's ultimately going to cost him, I think. Now to P12, so it's a long way back. Looks at Mastoni and Will going side by side as well. Mastoni getting through on the DRS straight. Up into P9, so doubles his points there. Will would have lost that anyway with all those penalties, but Mastoni potentially can jump his teammate at the end of the race as well, within that 3 seconds. Kickbutt is also going to jump in position as it stands on side pod. Kickbutt keeping it nice and clean for now. So where's Kavudi come out? He's come out about 2 seconds behind the stone tower, so we might be able to get that back. I don't remember if the stone tower had damage or not visually, but maybe a tiny bit of damage from that instant server. But Kavudi's probably going to close in, but stone tower does have the penalty advantage, so as long as stone tower can stay within 3 seconds of Kavudi, he will hang on to P11, but or it will become P10 with Will's penalty. So this fight here is potentially for 1 point. Would be nice to pick up points in the first race of the season. Kickbutt's still in the back side pod. With the tyres they're on, Kickbutt's hard's going to start to really phase in now. Side pods and mediums won't be too nice, and we've seen him really struggle on the brakes a few times. The side pod, he's going to be struggling to keep Kickbutt behind, I think, at this stage. Kickbutt with those 16 lap old hards, so they're both the same age, but the hards obviously not wearing out as quickly as those mediums, so might be able to hang on to it. We've got yellows. That looks like, oh, that's Mastoni again. He's gone around again. Not sure if that would have been contact with someone or if he's made another mistake, but Mastoni now P12 out of the points. Might still be on for points if he can keep the penalties clean, but that's lost him potentially P8, which is frustrating for him, I'm sure. But that's put Kavudi in the stone tower ahead, so Kavudi getting by the stone tower is now on the back of Will. Although ultimately may lose the positions anyway on the penalties, but Kavudi into the top 10. We might have a quick look down here, Predictor and Dildog. Predictor lining up Dildog here for P15. I haven't mentioned either of them too much. I think Dildog didn't qualify particularly well in terms of position, struggling down to P15. He's nowhere near anyone really in front of him, 3.5 seconds, so no DRS to help him along. Predictor on the fresher, softer tyres, maybe lining up and moving the next couple of laps. Will picks up 3 seconds for a cutting warning. He's lost out to Kavudi as well, so possibly getting that running wide, going side by side, it's unfortunate, but I think that's now 9 seconds. No, it's 15 seconds for Will, so that's a lot of penalties. He's going to drop well out of the points now, is the Red Bull. 4 laps left, or 3.5 litres. Still a couple of small battles going on here. Looks like Reaper and Benny still side by side, or close enough, nose to tail I should say, on track. Reaper not quite close enough to really make a move though, we've seen the last few laps. Same with Kiwi and the side pod. Not quite close enough for Kiwi to throw a nose inside. Sidepod doing well enough in the important bits. And behind them we've got Stone Tower and Will So Stonetail will have a bit of pace. Macedonian behind, I'm sure he'll be pushing to get by. That little battle we saw before, Predictor and Dildog, that is now heading up. Was that Predictor's sneaking through there? Dildog will have DRS though, and can he get him back for P15? Predictor's going to go outside, a little bit moving there, but Predictor will hang on for P15. Dildog has to settle for 16th place in that McLaren. Kurt Boy and Blocky right behind, so Blocky's had a stinker. 12 laps on those mediums there, so he's pitted a couple of times. We would see Blocky, or we expect to see Blocky in the top 10, but unfortunately not this race. Stonetail picks up another warning, equating to 3 seconds now. He's going to try and get by Will. Turn 1, let the brakes, and he gets stuck. Will's going to try and hold around the outside. Will gets pushed wide a little bit, and that's going to let Macedonian through as well. Yeah, he gets through, so Will dropping down to 12th now. Macedonian 11th, but will jump at the end of the race if he can keep his penalties clean. I think Stonetail now has a couple of penalties. But Macedonian looking racy. DRS open, using all 6% of that battery, and he's going to try and get through on the Stonetail. What can Stonetail do in response? Lay at the brakes. Can he get the car stopped? A little bit of contact. He's going to run Macedonian out wide. Won't appreciate that too much. Just leaves enough space. Still side by side though. Some really great wheel to wheel here. Macedonian has to back out. Unfortunately loses a little bit of time there in doing so. That battle looks like it's just about done. Macedonian will have another couple of laps to get back again, but I'm not sure if we'll be able to do anything about it. Looks like Grim's made a mistake here. He's dropped off a second from Benny. We were keeping an eye on that gap as well. But these two are not though. But Kiwi now making a move. 2 laps to go. Side pod running a bit wide. This might not matter too much for penalties, but I'm sure Kickbutt would rather get him on track. Side pod is going to have to concede here. He'll have DRS for the next straight, but yeah, I'm not sure if he'll get the run. Kickbutt gets that nice side pod with another little lock up, and unfortunately I think for him Kickbutt's going to be too far ahead, and he is. So Kickbutt now in P6, 3.6 seconds ahead of Reaper. Reaper has 3 seconds, so if Kickbutt can gain half a second to like 6-7 tenths, then Kickbutt could get top 5. He's going to have to do a really good lap here to do so, and hope the sideboard doesn't fight him. That would be really good if Kickbutt can get that top 5. See how that plays out. Leaders on to the last lap. Will now still trying to get by Stonetail, who's lost out to Macedonian. So Stonetail I think has made a mistake somewhere as well. Macedonian's now back through into P10 behind his teammate. So ultimately that spin from Macedonian, he might end up in the same position anyway. What we will do though is we'll run on ball with our leader though. We haven't given him too much attention, particularly for this second stint, but he's drove a fantastic race, keeping it clean on the penalty front, which I'm sure is really fantastic for him. He'll be really pleased with that. We'll quickly flick to this side by side, side pod and Kavudi trying to get back up through the field after pitting second time. I think he's going to get P7. He's got a teammate ahead, but won't be able to get him on the penalties. But F1 Hawk coming through the final couple of corners now is going to win the opening race of the season and take the championship lead from McLaren. Picks up a penalty on the second last corner. That is really disappointing. I reckon that's almost worth taking that win off him. But he's going to win that first race in Austria. Nice one for the penalty. VCNKR will take P2 ahead of Edmund. P2 and P3 for them. Great races there. Reaper not quite close enough to get Benny. In the end, Benny will take P4. Which Reaper will take him back though on the penalties. Kickbutt Kiwi will jump the pair of them actually. P4 for Kickbutt puts Reaper down to 5, Benny to 6, Sidepod to 7th, Scotty to 8, Maston will jump to 9th, Kavudi will take 10th, but can he hang on to it? I don't think he will. He will actually. So the last penalty there for Stonetail has cost him a little bit there. Banana Cake Pie jumps on his crook, so 11 and 12 for Stonetail. Banana Cake Pie, which is just about where they started on that ultimate strap. Both of them having issues getting involved in incidents. Crook is 13th, Will 14th, Dildog 15th, Pipta will take 16th, Blocky had an absolute stinker, he'll take 17th ahead of Kurt Boy. Those two are close together, but well and truly out of where they want to be. But that has been the first race. Blocky hits the ball in frustration, I'm sure, and Kurt Boy is doing some nice celebratory donuts for 18th place. One way to finish the race, I guess, but it is the McLaren of F1 Hawk taking the win. Benny MC, well and truly deserving a driver of the day, coming from second to last to take a really strong result there, top 5. F1 Hawk takes the biggest trophy of the lot though, in P1 ahead of VC and KI and Edmund. So a really strong race from the 3 of them, way to get your championship kicked off. Yeah, fantastic race to watch there, plenty of action. Didn't really get a chance to breathe at all in there. Yeah, way to get back into commentary as well. Lots of things to talk about. A few little stumbles on the way, apologies about that. But just trying to capture as much action as possible. But that's your leaderboard there. Kickbutt P4, Greeper P5, Benny MC P6. I believe I said top 5 before. It's P6 of Benny from 19th. So fantastic recovery there. Sidepod, Scotty, Mastone and Cavudi will take the points. Stone Tower, Banana Cake Pie will be disappointed. I reckon they both could have been a bit higher had it not been for their incident. Stone Tower getting involved in an incident with server. Banana Cake Pie getting caught up in some crazy stuff happening in that massive battle pack in the midfield there. Honest will Dildo Predictor. Blocky and Kurt Boy round out the finishes. We had Server and Bernard Josh both retiring the pits. Bernard Josh was early issues in the race and Server retiring after that incident with the Stone Tower. So that's the race there. Quickest lap goes to Honest, so no one gets points for that. I believe only the top 10, if you have the fastest lap, will get that extra point. But that will do us for round 1 at Austria. I'm not actually too sure what the calendar is. I might just double check that quickly so I can promote us properly. S4 calendars. There we go. Alright, so we are at Britain next week. So somewhat similar to Austria in a way. Fast track, bit of a slip train, plenty of DRS opportunities. So we'll see how these guys fare at Britain. Now we've got Canada the week after in Belgium. So 4 really quick tracks to start off with. Really spicy in terms of racing. Mistakes will be costly at all 4 of them in terms of track position. So some really interesting races coming up. Then we've got some difficult ones after that. But looking forward to seeing these guys in action. But yeah, not a bad way to open up the season. Tier 2 action here for the Race Spec Pacific Series. We might wind up the stream there. Thank you everyone for tuning in. That was a fun race. I really enjoyed watching that. If you want to see more of these guys, make sure to tune in next week for round 2 at Britain. 3 more tiers on as well for the Pacific Series. Tier 1 and Tier 4 on at the same time as Tier 2, and then Tier 3 an hour and a half before. So make sure to tune into as many of those as you possibly can. They'll be streaming most weeks. We've got the other regions as well, plus the Sunday races for Race Spec, so make sure to check out all that good stuff. But we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely evening. Thank you to our drivers for putting on a great show, and we'll see you all next week. Thank you.